What if Anakin left the Jedi Order to free the slaves on Tatooine? Let's explore the depths of it in the video. The Jedi Council is surprised to hear that Anakin has requested a meeting with them. After the Battle of Geonosis, they had granted him some time off to recuperate, but the Padawan was most insistent. As he stands before the Council, Anakin clears his throat and looks up at them. Masters of the Jedi Order, I come to you to discuss the events of the last few days. While you are well aware of the events on Geonosis, I had my adventure on Tatooine before that, and it has given me much to reflect on.
Important this sounds. What is on your mind, young one?
I have decided to leave the Jedi Order. The Council gasps, and Anakin pauses to let them take it in. He did not make this decision lightly. His return to Tatooine had left him shaken. Although he had been gone for almost a decade, hardly a day seems to have passed on Tatooine. Nothing has changed there. The slavery, crime, and oppression remain ever present. If anything, things have only gotten worse, as the Jedi are now focusing their efforts on the Separatist Crisis. Seeing his mother die was a tragedy, not only because of the personal loss, but also the realization that no one was watching out for these people. With the war breaking out, there will be no one to help the people there, not unless someone decided to help them.
Anakin, what you're planning is incredibly bold. You're throwing away years of training to do this.
I understand your worry, Master, but with war brewing, places like Tatooine will not have Republic or Jedi protection. Someone has to be there for them. Skywalker, are you prepared to deal with the consequences? I am, Master.
A noble decision you are making. May the Force be with you, young one.
Anakin bows and walks out of the Jedi Temple for the last time. A Naboo ship is prepared for him, but as Anakin boards, it's tinged with sadness, as Padme will not be leaving with him. Although she supports his mission, Padme believes her place is with the Senate and will use her position to provide him with aid. The one silver lining is that since he is not part of the Jedi Order, they do not need to keep their marriage a secret. Instead of being a secret, it is now a proper relief organization funded by the Naboo government. They establish their headquarters in Mos Espa, where Anakin is assigned a contingent of volunteers. He also gets aid from the Jedi, who are inspired by Anakin's decision and provide him with funding and supplies. With these resources, Anakin begins the process of freeing the slaves he can. He starts by buying those with masters willing to sell. Soon, Anakin has dozens of slaves sheltering in his safe house. These are eventually taken to Naboo, which have agreed to accept them where they can resettle and find work. For the first few weeks, things seem to go well as Anakin frees more slaves than he can handle, but many more are kept out of Anakin's reach while their masters charge astronomical prices. Soon, his coffers begin to deplete without making a dent in the slave population. Among those who end up joining Anakin are his old friends, Wald and Kitster. They offer to help him, but they struggle to make ends meet. The only success seems to be helping the slaves find work, as Anakin finds many former slaves willing to work, highly motivated to make their living. With loans from Anakin's organization, these people can create successful businesses. These enterprises begin to cause trouble around Mos Espa as slave-run businesses see him as a threat. They appeal to Gardulla to help stamp out the growing competition. She sends a squad of Gamorrean thugs alongside her protocol droid to Anakin's headquarters to discuss things.
Excuse me, is Master Skywalker here?
It's just Anakin, droid. There are no masters here. What do you want?
Very well, Anakin. I come here on behalf of the illustrious Gardulla and the honorable business people of Tatooine. While they welcome commerce of all kinds, they worry that your ambitions may upset the delicate balance in our city. Of course, they will ensure you are properly compensated for your efforts.
I fail to see the problem. They sold me these people. I will not say fairly, because I know they're overcharging me. Now they're telling me that I'm not allowed to let them make an honest living.
Warning. Be careful, Anakin. Tatooine may be free, but it obeys the Hutts.
To emphasize his point, the Gamorreans growl and heft their axes and swords menacingly. Anakin responds by lifting his cloak and showing his lightsaber. Then tell Gardola her concerns are noted, but I will continue to operate my businesses.
Then please expect a response soon.
As they leave, Anakin wastes no time in making preparations for the attack. He evacuates whoever can't fight and arms those who can with whatever they can find. Salvaged blasters, spears, and tools repurposed as weapons. He also contacts the Republic to send support. After a few days of hasty preparation, Anakin scouts a report that a large force is gathering in Gardola's palace, and he knows that the attack is coming. We've lived under their rule for too long. No more fear, no more chains. Tonight, we take this city for ourselves. As he makes the final preparations, Anakin feels his comlink click to life.
Anakin, it seems the Force is on your side. We happen to be passing through. We should be arriving shortly.
You don't know how much this means, Obi-Wan.
Oh, I think I do.
The drinks are on me tonight, Master. Before he can give his thanks, Gardola's forces begin to advance. An army of thugs, bounty hunters, and Gamorreans pushing forward. They move as a wave of destruction, ransacking houses and stalls as they march through the city. Anakin sees this all from atop one of the tall houses. He glances around at the seemingly empty streets and waits for the thugs to advance through. Suddenly, Anakin waves his hand, and blaster fire erupts from the houses around them. Thugs stumble back, falling to the blaster fire while freed men rush out with spears and swords to engage them in close quarters. With surprise on their side, the freed men have the upper hand and break Gardola's momentum. But with inferior weapons and training, Anakin knows it won't last. He already sees several freed men being overwhelmed or getting careless. He leaps into battle, drawing his lightsaber to try and mitigate this issue. Anakin's old Jedi training kicks in as he cuts through the ranks of thugs and mercenaries. Compared to the hordes of cold droids he's faced, these opponents are easy prey as he takes down dozens of them in a matter of seconds. Slowly, this section gives way and the thugs retreat. But in a citywide battle, it's only one area and the Hutts are having more success elsewhere. This is until a pair of Jedi starfighters zip by, knocking out whatever air support the thugs have and strafing the advancing army. They are closely followed by a trio of Republic shuttles that deploy clone troopers. Obi-Wan leaps out from his starship and joins the battle, his lightsaber deflecting blaster fire and leading the charge. The clones open fire, decimating the advancing enemy. Ahsoka activates her lightsaber, its green blade humming to life. She leaps into the fray alongside her master. The freed slaves rally at the sight of the Jedi reinforcements, and the tide quickly turns. Soon the thugs are in full retreat, allowing the freed men and Jedi to join forces. Anakin grins at the sight of his old master.
Still getting into trouble, I see.
The two Jedi fight back to back, a perfect symphony of slashes and deflections. Ahsoka follows after, cutting down stragglers as the last thugs retreat from the city and back to Gardola's palace. The freedmen give chase with Anakin leading the charge to her palace. The massive fortress-like structure looms ahead, surrounded by mercenaries and more Gamorrean guards.
This is it. We take her down, and the city is ours.
The group charges. Explosions rock the palace gates as the freed slaves detonate explosives, blowing a hole into the entrance. Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka lead the way inside, cutting through guards like a whirlwind. While the freed men, clones, and Ahsoka deal with the fight, Anakin and Obi-Wan head to the throne room, where Gardola the Hutt sits, surrounded by her treasures and her guards.
You dare challenge me, slave?
Anakin steps forward, lightsaber in hand.
I may have been your slave once, but you'll never own anyone again.
Gardola signals and a new wave of mercenaries charge from the shadows. Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka fight through them, but it's clear Gardola has one last trick. She activates a trap, closing the doors and sealing the room. Gas starts to fill the space as Gardola tries to escape. Her hover throne begins roaring to life as she prepares to make her escape, but Anakin is faster. He uses the Force to throw the guards back and leaps at the Hutt, swinging his lightsaber across her chest. Seeing this, her guards quickly throw down their weapons, as outside, freedmen cheer. Gardola's flags are taken down, and her soldiers surrender. While Anakin allows them to loot the palace, he sits in the dining hall with Obi-Wan and Ahsoka.
You've upset a lot of powerful crime bosses with your efforts, Anakin. I hope you know Gardola will not be the last.
I know. but with a secure base, I can hopefully expand my efforts.
Indeed. Although you should know the Republic is open to expanding its support for you.
Really?
Now? The Clone Wars. It's not going well. The Hutts know you're a former Jedi, so they blame the Republic for what's happening, and have started to strengthen ties with the Separatists. But the Hutts possess vital hyperspace lanes, and if they were to fall under the control of a trusted ally...
Oh, so it's about that, and not the slaves.
Anakin, I sense your frustration. Truthfully, I envy you for leaving the Order when you did. Things have gotten so complicated that sometimes I wonder if I should have left too.
Master, there's always room for you here in my city.
I may take you up on that offer one day, but not today. I have other responsibilities now.
He gestures towards Ahsoka, but his smile fades.
I know it's not ideal, but it can benefit everyone. You can rule Tatooine and make it better than it is.
All right. What is the Republic prepared to give? Soldiers? Those clones seem effective.
No, at least not many of them. We do not want to risk an open war with the Hutts, so all we can do is grant you trainers for your army, weapons, and supplies.
I suppose I can make do with that. With Mos Espa now under his control, Anakin proceeds to free every slave in the city. This gives him a large pool of experienced and skilled workers like mechanics, engineers, administrators, and shipbuilders. He puts many of those to work to build local industries, turning the city into an economic powerhouse. Now, with Republic support, he can get trade, providing Republic ships with a friendly port in Hutt space. From there, money, weapons, and mercenaries flow in. Anakin also spends his time training the freedmen to defend themselves, recruiting clone officers to train them, and turning them into a formidable militia. He then sends his militia to start freeing slaves from the surrounding towns. Whether the slaves are from the cartels, Tusken Raiders, or moisture farms, Anakin frees them. In some cases, he uses his economic power to buy their freedom or strikes deals. Other times, he deploys his troops to liberate them. But these efforts do not go unnoticed, as Jabba the Hutt sees Anakin as a powerful rival and sees his connections to the Jedi. The Hutt clans eventually ally with the CIS, who deploy a large number of droids on Tatooine. However, the Hutts are unwilling to allow large fleets into their system, as they do not want to allow the CIS to dominate them or force the Republic to get involved. With hordes of battle droids and mercenaries swarming the planet, Anakin changes tactics and begins waging a guerrilla war against Jabba. His troops operate in desert bands and use the wide stretches of desert to launch raids across the advancing droid forces. They even ally with locals like Tusken Raiders and Jawas, who are also uneasy by the influx of droids on their territory and eagerly join forces. In exchange for their help, Anakin welcomes them into his society, allowing them to trade and access their facilities if they stop stealing and taking slaves. Together they begin to grind the CIS forces to a standstill. Since the droids cannot bring too many reinforcements in, the war begins to favor Anakin. Slowly he begins to expand his influence, capturing villages one by one, and threatening Jabba's control over Tatooine. Seeing this success, the Republic expands its support to Anakin's military. They don't just send him weapons, now increasing their aid to starfighters, tanks, and armed freighters. All of this gives Anakin a massive arsenal that Jabba can't compete with. The CIS and Count Dooku urge Jabba to accept their aid and allow them to send a fleet to crush him. However, the Hutt knows accepting such an offer now would either allow the CIS to take over or show weakness to the other Hutt clans, and refuses. But Jabba knows that he cannot allow this to keep going and decides to contact his uncle, Zero, for help. Zero sends the Galactic Senate a message claiming that Jabba is willing to negotiate peace with the Republic, and suggests Senator Amidala visit his palace, as she is Anakin's wife, and might convince Anakin to listen. The senator is accompanied by Captain Typho and a squad of Senate commandos following her closely as they descend the boarding ramp towards one of the seedier districts of Coruscant, where Zero's palace is located. The group approaches the towering entrance of the palace. A protocol droid meets them at the door, bowing stiffly.
Welcome, Senator Amidala. His Excellency Zero the Hutt eagerly awaits your presence inside. Please, follow me.
The droid leads them through the winding corridors of the palace, leaving most of the guards outside to secure the landing pad. The door opens to Zero's throne room, where the Hutt ruler is lounging on a massive couch, surrounded by droids and her underlings. The air is thick with the scent of exotic incense.
Senator Amidala. So kind of you to grace me with your presence.
Of course, Great Zero. With all the turmoil on Tatooine, I thought we should discuss how the Republic might resolve the situation.
Of course, my dear. I've always been a proponent of diplomacy. I've prepared a deal that I think your esteemed husband cannot refuse.
Zero waves his stubby arm, and the doors behind Padme slam shut. The Senator commandos tense, accompanying her and ready their blasters.
Senator, we should leave. Something isn't right.
Suddenly, blaster fire echoes from outside. The guards outside all cry out in alarm, their screams mixing in with the sounds of combat. One of them raises his comlink and contacts Typho.
Sir, it's an ambush. We've been betrayed.
Suddenly, hidden doors in the chamber slide open, revealing Zero's guards. Nikto thugs, Gamorreans, a pair of commando droids. They surge forward, surrounding Padme and her squad.
Zero, what is the meaning of this?
Protect the Senator.
The Senate commandos spring into action, forming a protective ring around Padme as they open fire. Typho takes Padme's hand and tries to guide her away, but his path is blocked by the commando droid. He pulls his blaster out and fires 3 rounds through the droid's chest and takes it down. But by the time it falls, the doors slam shut and the two are cut off. While they fire their blasters to help the outnumbered commandos, the second commando droid leaps up from the column and shoots Typho. Soon, the rest of her escort follows, and Padme is left alone. 2 Nikto thugs grab Padme by the arms, restraining her. She struggles, but the strength of their grip is too much.
Oh, what spirited resistance. But alas, dear Padme, this is the end of your little visit. Prepare her for transport. Jabba is waiting.
As the guards begin to drag her away, Padme struggles again, but her efforts are futile. Zero watches with a satisfied smirk as she's led out of the chamber.
Enjoy your journey, Senator. Tatooine can be quite unforgiving.
The kidnapping of a senator cannot remain hidden for long, as soon rumors begin to spread about the missing senator with the Republic searching for her. But rather than hide, Jabba openly boasts of what he did, broadcasting it on the holofeed. Jabba the Hutt's massive figure fills the holonet, flanked by his loyal droid and the senator chained at his feet.
People of the Outer Rim, I, Jabba Dislijik Tirur, have a message for Anakin Skywalker and the Republic. Your beloved senator is now my guest and may even become one of my favorite dancers. I might be persuaded to return her if we can agree. The Republic is to withdraw all support for Anakin Skywalker, while the young upstart must surrender all holdings, equipment, and businesses to me. You will bow before me, or she dies.
Jabba's malicious laughter reverberates through the room as the image cuts out. Anakin stands frozen, fury building behind his eyes. He slams his fist against the wall as Republic representatives and his generals appear to discuss what is happening.
This is a dangerous situation. We cannot allow a senator to remain captive at the hands of such a criminal. I will deploy a strike force immediately.
Delicate this situation is. Respond in force, and we risk the senator's life.
No, we should fight. Jabba's power will only grow. We should strike before he has time to mobilize.
The Republic will not negotiate with a Hutt.
Yoda pauses and looks at Anakin's face, seeing the trouble written across it, and sighs.
Much to think about, the young ruler has.
The transmissions end, and Kitster's expression softens as Anakin's breath grows heavier and his anger begins to simmer.
We'll get her back, Anakin. Somehow. In the meantime, you have a visitor.
Suddenly, a voice cuts through the noise. A voice Anakin knows all too well.
Anakin, what are you doing here, Obi-Wan?
I came as soon as I heard. Anakin, you need to be careful.
Careful? Obi-Wan, they have Padme.
I can't just sit here while Jabba holds her prisoner. I'll give him what he wants if it means keeping her alive. Obi-Wan steps forward, placing a hand on Anakin's shoulder.
Do not be so careless as to throw away everything you've worked for. What you've accomplished here is miraculous.
And what does it matter when I can't even protect those who matter to me most?
It isn't just about Padme, is it?
I lost her to this planet years ago. I vowed to myself I would prevent anyone else I cared about from suffering the same fate. But here I am again.
Listen to me. You didn't free the slaves of Tatooine by acting on impulse or emotion. You were careful and spent months planning and building your strength. If you rush into this now without thinking, you'll lose everything, including Padme.
I don't have time for strategy. Jabba's using Padme to draw me out.
Anakin, you've already faced challenges like this before. You freed the slaves from Gardula's grasp by outsmarting her. This is no different. She's counting on you, Anakin. Not to be reckless, but to do what you've always done. Fight with your mind as much as with your lightsaber.
He finally turns to face Obi-Wan. All right, I have a plan. The twin suns blaze over the desert as Anakin watches Obi-Wan's ship depart. He rides on the skiff, sailing alone and looking up at Jabba's enormous sail barge which hovers over the great pit of Carkoon. He steps aboard the barge and feels the criminal's eyes upon him. Anakin steps into the dimly lit, smoke-filled hull of Jabba's sail barge, his expression hard, determined. Jabba lounges on his throne, flanked by his guards and dancers. Padme, dressed in a humiliating dancer's outfit, is chained at Jabba's side. She catches Anakin's eye, but her expression remains calm and defiant.
Ah, Skywalker. You came, as expected.
I'm here for Padme. Release her, and you might just make it off Tatooine alive. Jabba lets out a deep, mocking laugh, his belly shaking as he pulls Padme's chain tighter.
The great Jabba is generous. Surrender yourself and all your holdings, and I'll let her go. Or you can watch her dance for me forever.
Anakin's fists clench, his anger rising at the sight, but he forces himself to stay calm. You think this is about power, Jabba? Do you think I came here alone?
You are alone. My guards surround us. Your Republic will not dare intervene, and my spies have informed me of your troops' movements in Mos Espa.
Suddenly, Tusken raiders emerge from behind the dunes, mounted on speeder bikes instead of their usual banthas. Their war cries echo across the desert as the guards try to defend the barge from their blaster fire. From the horizon, a Jawa sandcrawler rumbles into view, heading straight for Jabba's barge. Hidden compartments on the sandcrawlers open up, revealing heavily armored Jawas who begin firing at the barge's guards. They release a sailing skiff, up-armored like the sandcrawler. The sounds of engines roar above as Ahsoka pilots Obi-Wan's ship overhead. The ship swoops down, strafing the sail barge with laser fire. The shots rip into the repulsors, causing the barge to lurch and tip precariously. As they stumble about, Anakin pulls out his lightsaber and throws the guard back with a force push. Several guards pull their weapons, but Padme kicks one behind the knees and takes his weapon, blasting her chains off. The Tusken Raiders soon clear the upper decks, allowing for the skiff to land, revealing Obi-Wan, Kitster, and Wald, who finish off the stragglers as they clear the decks. Kitster and Wald handle the explosives, placing charges along the engines and controls while Obi-Wan protects them. Inside the barge, the lights suddenly flicker as the power fails, leaving only the lightsaber and blaster fire for the light. Dozens of shots ring out, some from the guards and some from Anakin's friends, and most bounce harmlessly off his lightsaber. When the lights come back on, most of the guards are down, and Padme hurriedly finishes off whoever's left. Jabba roars in anger, his booming voice shaking the walls as he realizes his carefully laid plan is unraveling. In a fit of rage, he lurches from his throne and tries to crush Anakin and Padme under his massive bulk. But Anakin is faster. With a surge of the Force, he halts Jabba's advance, lifting the massive hut into the air. Jabba's grotesque form floats, helpless, as he thrashes about in midair. You should have left Tatooine when I gave you the chance. Padme takes aim with her blaster and fires. The hut bellows in pain, his massive form slumping over. Once Padme is clear, Anakin drops the hut to the ground, sending the entire ship shaking. But a larger collision happens moments later as the sandcrawler rumbles forward, slamming into the side of the sail barge. The impact causes the already damaged repulsors to fail completely, and the entire barge tilts dangerously towards the Sarlacc pit below.
Time to go. Now.
The small group hurry upstairs where the skiff is waiting for them. They leap onto it and sail off just as the barge tumbles into the hungry maw of the Sarlacc pit below. They land on the dune where the Tuskens and Jawas are gathering.
Are you all right?
I am now.
You did well, Anakin. Jabba's reign is over. But Tatooine will still need you.
Anakin looks at the twin suns.
It does. There are still many more slaves in Hutt space who need my help. But in the meantime, the Sarlacc will eat well tonight.
That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.